one of the most iconic and influential people in climbing history and British climbing history. Ben Moon, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
That's okay.
You're one of the greatest legends in climbing history.
I don't know about that.
There's so many significant
You're saying all the right things.
Yeah. Tell us about yourself and climbing. How did you get into it?
I first started climbing when I was about 7 years old, when we went on some walking holidays in the Lake District. My family and another family that lived near us in London, and the father of the other family was big into the outdoors and did a bit of climbing and just took me climbing one day. And I was just sort of bitten straight away, really.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, just on some little outcrop in the Lake District.
And how did you accelerate from there?
It's tricky, really, because not many people climbed back in the 1970s.
Well. Yeah.
Lived in the south of England. Climb wars didn't exist or anything, so the only way to go climbing was to know someone who could take you climbing, really. And obviously it was all traditional climbing back then. Just on the odd holidays, again with the same father, John Varney. Every few years I might get like a couple of days climbing.
Okay.
It wasn't until I was at sort of boarding school that me and my friend, who was also into climbing, sort of formed a climbing club, and we one of the teachers was a climber as well, and we managed to organise some trips, and that was it, really. That was the end of my education.
The start of the climbing.
Yeah.
You were right at the forefront of climbing through like the 80s and 90s, and were really influential on some of the big changes that were happening in terms of ethics and red pointing, bolting, things like that. Did it feel like you were driving that, or did you feel like you were sort of rebelling against the traditional ways of climbing, or were you really
a bit of both, really. I mean, we definitely felt a little bit rebelling against the sort of traditional climbing ethics. But we were still doing a lot of trad climbing and yo-yoing and everything. Obviously, I got to become good friends with people like Jerry Moffatt and Chris Gore and Martin Atkinson and Andy Pollitt and all this, and Ron Fawcett and all the sort of top climbers in the very early 80s, and we were all sort of doing the same thing, really. So we were aware that we were sort of breaking the mould, so to speak, a little bit in how people thought about climbing. And it sort of was changing pretty rapidly, really.
The development through that time period was huge.
I mean, we'll probably not see that kind of development again, really.
No, I don't think
what with sport climbing and competition climbing and bouldering and the explosion of indoor walls. And
you've done so many cutting edge routes as well, and cutting edge boulder problems. Has there been like one in particular that was your favourite or like most memorable?
Well, Statement of Youth means a lot to me, really. I was only 18 when I did that. I mean, barely 18 actually. I think I first started trying it when I was 17 in the summer of 84. It's like a sort of world-class route. It's sort of that magical grade 8A. It's one of those ones that everyone wants to do, really. I think it's supposed to be quite a tough one for its grade. So that means a lot to me. Hubble, obviously, because it's maybe not the sort of the best route in the world, but it was the first 9A in the world. It's very sort of pure, new style, powerful. So that means a lot.
That means a lot to a lot of people, I think, as well. Especially if they get up it.
The two big grades in a climber's.
8A and 9A, exactly.
You set up the Moon brand, which sells all kinds of stuff. How did that come about? How did you sort of decide, right, I'm going to launch a clothing brand and sell things like that? How did that come about?
Well, I was obviously a professional climber for quite a long time, but I was very much helping other brands to sort of market their products and everything. But I was very aware that that wasn't going to be something that would last forever. Once I wasn't one of the sort of best climbers anymore, that there'd be other people they would work with and stuff. And I stayed with a good friend, Christian Griffith, in Bouldering, Colorado in 1990, and he'd just set up a clothing brand called Verve, which was probably one of the very first pure sort of climbing clothing brands, and really kind of sort of sparked my interest. And I always had it in the back of my mind that I'd like to do the same as Christian and start up a clothing brand. And so sort of in my late late 20s, early 30s, I thought, oh, I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, we do clothing, we do the crash pads, we do the bags, chalk bags and bags, and then obviously we've got the moon board. But it's all stuff that's very sort of climbing focused. We're not sort of trying to get into walking or mountaineering or anything like that. It's very much a sort of climbers brand. My kind of philosophy is to do products that I want to use in my day-to-day climbing. It keeps me busy. It's been a massive learning process. It's coming up to 20-year anniversary in 2 years' time as well, which is quite amazing.
Yeah. Big celebrations for that?
Might do something, maybe some special 20th anniversary products maybe, or designs.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. And the moon board as well, it's very, very iconic across the globe. And the Moonboard Masters set up in 2017?
2017, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Moonboard Masters, like you said, it was in 2017, it was an invitational competition, and because the Moonboard's like a standardised training board, it's the same all around the world, so it's unique in that we could hold a competition at multiple venues around the world at the same time. So we had like a team in Sheffield, Alex Magos and Margot Hayes, and then we had a team in Spain, a couple of teams in Japan, and then a team in New York, and basically they were all competing at the same time. New York was obviously quite early in the morning, and then the Japanese were quite late at night, and it was sort of live broadcast, so it was
an incredible
quite a novel thing.
That's amazing.
I remember.
It's quite tricky organising it all.
Well, we were watching it live when it was all happening, and we were just like, this is amazing that you can have this competition running all around the world at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a definite feat getting everybody in the right place at the right time.
Having it live is very challenging. But I quite like the idea of not flying people all around the world to compete in a competition. All of the athletes only had to sort of jump on a train and go to a certain gym. So it was quite an environmentally friendly way of doing a competition.
And they set their own problems. Was it they set they set basic problems for everyone else. So they had to demonstrate their problem and get points doing their problem, and then they also had to do everyone else's problems. And it was like there was an overall male and an overall female winner, and then there was a sort of team prize as well. And is it happening again this year?
We're just talking about it at the moment. Maybe again in November. But the competition calendar these days is just so busy. It's unbelievable, really. I mean, that's another thing that's changed a lot. It's hard finding a slot.
But it's open now to anybody, is it?
This year we did it. Yeah, we did do slightly different formats. So it was still the competition did still take place at a number of venues around the world, but there was an open qualifying round, so anyone could enter. They just need to go down their local wall where they had a moon board and just do these problems and collect points, and then if they got enough points, they got into the final. And then we did the final over like a weekend, but we didn't broadcast it live, so maybe lost a little bit there. So we might tweak the format again this year.
Have a live stream.
It's nice to sort of try and make it inclusive though, and then allow other people to sort of enter it, not just the sort of best in the world. So maybe we'll have a combination of sort of invites and open.
We're in the schoolroom, which is, I've got to say, somewhere I've always wanted to visit.
It's
such an iconic place, but obviously this is the second incarnation of it.
Yes.
How did it all come? How did it first start, and then how did it develop through the years?
Yeah, the first schoolroom started in 1993. A friend of mine called Al Williams, who was an artist, was renting a little room in an old Victorian school that was owned by the council, and there was loads of artists had rented rooms in there. And I just went to visit him one day and I saw his room and I was like, oh, this would make an amazing training room. Because back then we were basically training in cellars, small dark dank cellars, and I was like, oh yeah, this would be great. So I got together with a few friends and we built these training boards in one of these schoolrooms, and then it was just like, anyone could join really. It was a group of about 20 of us. The council shut that Victorian building down after about 10 years, but we took the boards down and put them into storage, and then I used to run my business out of this warehouse, but I kind of outgrew it, and I thought, well, this will make a really good training room. So emptied everything out and put the old boards back in, and then put some more stuff in as well. and just sort of expanded it a little bit. But it's still like the same kind of, on the same sort of theme as the old school room. It's sort of a members only, self-check-in. There's about 50 members here now, I think. So
obviously it's quite a select group of people, or can anyone apply to become a member?
anyone can join. There's nothing really easy here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd tell people who are thinking of joining, you probably need to be bouldering sort of font 7A to get your money's worth out of it, just because there's no easy climbing here. But if you're sort of 7A above, then it's really, really good training facility.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you've still got the original boards and the holds and the problems.
Yeah, they're incredibly popular.
Yeah, I bet
love
people
them.
coming along just to try the sort of classic.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming up for 20 years old now.
Yeah.
You took quite a break from climbing, am I right? Or was that just from the climbing spotlight and you were still climbing?
Well, I probably was maybe climbing once a month or something. Just used to go down to the climbing works and just potter around a little bit. But I don't know. I had a daughter, so I became a father, and quite involved in the business. And I'd just done Voyage at a low start, which I'd been trying for a few years, and I wasn't doing sport climbing at the time. I was just bouldering, and I just kind of lost my motivation really.
Okay.
And so sort of packed in for about 4 or 5 years. Well, I say packed in, like I say, probably climbing once a month or something. And then sort of refound my motivation 4 or 5 years later again. Mainly from seeing Jordan Byes on Rain Shadow at Malham, this 9A of Steve McClure's. Just I was up there walking with my wife and saw Jordan on it, and I was just blown away by it. It really looked incredible. And I thought, maybe I should get back into climbing and try and get fit and see if I can do it. So it was mainly sort of Rain Shadow really.
Well, that worked out okay.
It was a happy ending there.
What's next? Have you got any more projects you're working on? Or?
I've got lots of projects. I mean, I'm still sort of working on Northern Lights, which is which I've been trying on and off for probably almost 20 years really. Steve McClure's route at Kilnsey. The last few years I've been trying that, and getting closer than I've ever been before, but still not managed to do it. And then just got some other things. There's other routes to do. Malham in the Peak District. But I feel a little bit like I'm running out of certainly sport climbing routes to do. There's just not that much choice in the UK.
Any temptation to go abroad? And
I'd love to go abroad. I mean, I'm going to Flatanger in May for a couple of weeks, but I can't really spend extended sort of periods of time abroad. Just probably wouldn't be fair on my family. Do some more trad climbing, easy trad climbing. But I just like getting out and being in the sort of outdoors and everything. So,
is sport and bouldering your favourite, or is it just a place for you?
I mean, I suppose while I'm still sort of fit and healthy and feel like I can climb hard, I'm more interested in sport and bouldering. But definitely when I get a bit older and I'm not into sort of training, I could see doing more traditional climbing, even just easy stuff, to be honest. Bouldering outdoors I'm not so keen on. I'm not so keen on jumping off these days. If you're almost 54 and just want to sort of get as much out of my body as I can really. I get quite a lot of back problems and don't think quite jumping off is good for me. So sport climbing is good for that.
Obviously training pretty regularly to be trying this hard stuff. How's your training changed through the years from sort of when you first started to your training now?
I don't think it's changed massively, to be honest. I mean, I've done a couple of training plans over the past few years and they're pretty good, but I actually now just sort of do my own thing really. And I'd say the main difference is I probably don't go to failure as much when I'm training. I tend to stop when I still feel like I've got a little bit left in the tank, and probably do a little bit more sort of core and sort of bar work. I don't do anything super scientific.
Well, it's clearly been working for you.
It goes all right. I mean, I kind of sort of the view now that I've been doing it so long, I'm not sure that any kind of training routine is going to make any difference to me. It's just like go climbing as much as possible. On as many different sort of boards or rock or anything really. Variety, I think, is key for me.
Well, it's been an absolute honour talking to you. You're like one of my heroes growing
Oh,
up
thank you.
through climbing, and to get to meet you when we talked to Jerry a while ago, things is just
Yeah, it's
kind of
great.
slightly mind blowing.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, thank you for talking to us, having us around to the schoolroom to look at stuff, and best of luck with everything in the future.
Yeah,
Thank you
you,
very
yeah,
much.
you're welcome. Thanks for coming.